Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching, for listening. I really appreciate it. I have a podcast, by the way, for those that prefer to listen. I wanted to make a video because I probably get this question asked so many times, and it's always the same answer. Like, people are always asking, people that want to start sites, or maybe people that already have sites, hey, I need a really good contract to lock down my physician, my PI. And I think that's a bad way to think about it. Like, the way this usually phrased is like, I want it to benefit me, and oftentimes these very words are used, lock down my PI. So that's not a good relationship, in my opinion. That's not a good relationship you want to start with a PI. At the end of the day, the 1572 that the PI signs is his or her lockdown, and it's not with you, it's with the FDA. Like, that form, the PI is acknowledging and letting the FDA know they understand the conduct of the trial at their site is their responsibility, no one else's. With that in mind, what are you going to do if a PI wants to leave you anyways and start their own thing? There's not much you really can do. If you actually like the PI that you found and you think there's a solid potential there for growth, why not? And this is what I've done. This is currently my model at Yuma Clinical Trials with all of our PIs. I just have a handshake agreement. Like, hey, I'm going to give you 25% of the gross revenue. That means anything we get off the top from your study that you're PI, I give you. If you want a contract, that's fine. I'll make one. It's usually just an independent contractor agreement you can find online from your state, like something simple. I've never been asked for this stuff. Why? Because every single PI I've talked to that I'm comfortable working with, the goal is for me to eventually be a business partner with them and to start an LLC with them. So if you want to talk about lock in, you can lock in a PI by making them a business partner, because now you actually have like some legal ramifications for them leaving. It's called fiduciary of duties to business partners, and it doesn't just apply for doctors, it applies for anyone that you're in business with as a business partner. So that's the contracts I think are important. I don't think you having this rock solid legal contract that's binding and has non-compete clauses and you paid lawyers to write for you is going to help you or do you any good. If the PI is going to want to leave you, they're going to leave you regardless of who wrote your contract, because they understand that a lawsuit to sue somebody these days is a six-figure endeavor, whether you win or lose just to do it. I think it's much better and much easier understood to just have a LLC or a C Corp that you could work towards. I'm not saying jump in business with everyone you meet right off the bat, but it should be something you consider long term. Hey, Dr. So-and-so, we're going to work as independent contractors on the first few studies. If you like it and I like you and vice versa, we get along together, we can grow something big. And this is how I've actually grown my specialists practices in Yuma. So we have the main site, Yuma Clinical Trials, and then every specialist we've worked with, we have a smaller LLC that my main LLC owns a part of, and we give a part of that smaller LLC to the PI. And it's worked really well, and I think there's pros and cons to that. I know lawyers watching this are going to say, oh no, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This is a bad idea. Maybe, but that's the strategy I've worked. I personally believe it's a bad idea to spend all your time up front finding a legal contract to lock someone in, when at the end of the day, that's not a good foundation to build a partnership on. And a lot of you guys are doing this, are scaring off the PIs. Like, you're coming in there trying to be business people, and you're scaring off these PIs. These PIs, if you find the right type of PI, they're super busy. They've got a private practice. They've got plenty of work to do. Oftentimes, at least from my experiences, the research thing is like something that they like to see on the side. Like, hey, this is a great thing to add to my practice, but it's not going to make or break my practice. And so the last thing they want is to get into like legal issues with someone else. So take my advice, start out as independent contractor. Don't even waste your time looking for contracts. That contract, the 1572 is essentially a contract between the PI and the FDA. Not to mention, there's going to be plenty of contracts for the PI to sign when you get a study. The sponsor is going to be sending contracts. Most of the time, they want the PI signature on it, regardless of who owns the site. They're going to want the PI signature on it. So you have plenty of contracts. Now, can they just take the study and walk away from you? Yes and no. But they can do that even if you had a contract prepared by a fancy lawyer. They can still do that. Nothing's going to change. So all you're doing is wasting time and potentially scaring away good people. And I'd rather you just go out there and find good PIs that you don't think they have the personality type, or they're not showing you red flags that they are the type of person to walk away from you, because you don't want to partner with those kind of people anyways. That's my whole thoughts on this thing. I know I get this question asked so many times, and it's actually a huge roadblock for a lot of site owners that are trying to get started. Like this particular aspect, finding the PI is so difficult as is. Why complicate it with like these crazy contracts? You can just get an independent contractor or pay an attorney. I wouldn't spend more than $2,000 on this. Sometimes the PIs do take you more seriously if you have something in writing. In my experiences, that's never been the case. And I think it has to do with my background in clinical research. Like, when I approach a PI, they know that I know what I'm doing. They know that I've done this before. They see the LinkedIn, they see I bring them the book. Hey, like, I wrote a book on this, and I understand not everyone has those same things, but there are things within your career, if you are experienced in this space, that you can bring to show the PI, hey, you know what, I've been a monitor for 10 years. I know what the monitors are looking for. Let me explain what a monitor is. I've done this. At that point, you become the asset to the PI. The PI is going to be like, you know what? I need to work with this person. Like, who cares about a contract? Last thing they want to sign is a contract. There's going to be plenty of contracts for them to sign when you get studies. Figure out how to make yourself look attractive to the PI to where they already know before they even start, hey, this is a complex industry. There's no way I can do this without this person. That's what you want. And then they're not going to leave you if you treat them well and you're actually managing the site well. Now, if you have zero experience in clinical research, you're going to have to figure out an angle, a selling point to the PI. But still, even in that situation, that angle is not a rock solid contract that you had a lawyer prepare. That's not an angle. The angle is something, hey, I'm connected with these drug companies, or I can get studies, or I watch this crazy guy on YouTube and I kind of have the business plan. By the way, I have the hour-long blueprint to how to start a site on my website, theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Just go there, click the tab that says open a clinic, and it's literally the blueprint. Some people charge tens of thousands of dollars for these things. It's out there for you for free. You can screenshot those things and make your own slides to present to the PI. There's always something you can do to put yourself in a situation where the PI feels comfortable and confident in who they're about to do studies with. And you don't want to scare them away with these contracts. I've seen it kill so many deals. I've seen them do nothing when the PI ends up wanting to leave anyways. This is a complex topic, and it could get super ugly. There's no sense in wasting time with things that won't even help you in the long run. Matter of fact, they might actually end up hurting you. So just go out there and make sure you find the right type of PI. Talk to a couple. If you're in a large market, you might have to go through like 10 or 15 until you find one that you're comfortable with, they're comfortable with. Start out being an independent contractor, or them to be an independent contractor with you. And then if you like the way they work with you and vice versa, consider making them a partner on the LLC. That to me is rock solid. More rock solid than hiring some fancy lawyer to get one under on the, or get one over on the PI, on the poor doctor who's going to sign with you. Good luck, Guru Nation. I made this video not because it's a favorite topic of mine, but because I get asked this question way too often. I get where it's coming from, but I think the mentality is wrong. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Bye-bye.